Right now, as of the making of this video, it feels like WWE is getting way too comfortable pushing the same names over and over and over again, and it doesn't seem like it wants to experiment anymore. So in today's video, I've compiled 10 different names that I think WWE should look at pushing here late into 2025 or in early 2026. I'll try to give you my reasoning, where they should get pushed, etc., etc. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I know that you're going to fall in love with his YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. And if the daily wrestling content just isn't enough for you, consider coming over to patreon.com/SantiZav, where you are going to get so much more extra content like the Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews, and a whole host of different series that we cannot post here because they would just get blocked due to copyright because we use real footage over there. So go check it out. Link in the description, link in the pinned comment, patreon.com/SantiZav. Let's get started with the video. All right, so let's kick things off by talking about Ilia Dragunov. And at this point, if Ilia Dragunov returns and doesn't receive any sort of meaningful push, whether it's a push to the main event scene or a push for a mid-card title or something, anything, then I think it's time to start throwing up the red flags for Ilia Dragunov's career on the main roster. This is a guy that's got all of the talent in the world physically in order to be a top talent. And when you look at his time in NXT just before his call up to the main roster, he was doing some great character work. He was doing a great job on the microphone, telling stories outside of the ring as well. Just go look at his fantastic feud with Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. So we know that he's capable of all of these things. It just so happens that in his time on the main roster, WWE has decided to not utilize any of those things. The fact that I swear to God, I can count the amount of main roster matches that Ilia Dragunov had in just these two hands alone since getting called up from NXT, to me is ridiculous. He spent way too much time not getting screen time when he was healthy, and now that he's coming back from this long hiatus, this long injury, there's a demand, and the fans are clamoring to get Ilia Dragunov. If you don't use him once he returns, then I think all Ilia Dragunov fans need to be concerned. Which is why I am calling for Ilia Dragunov to get a push, any sort of push, any tiny little push would suffice. I just want main roster fans that have yet to really see what Ilia Dragunov is all about, whether it was his time in the Independent, his time in NXT UK, his time in NXT 2.0, NXT regular. They haven't been able to see what Ilia Dragunov is all about. And all I'm asking for is for fans to get an opportunity, a glimpse at what Ilia Dragunov is capable of, because I know that even the most casual of main roster fans are going to fall in love with Ilia Dragunov if they are just simply given the opportunity to even look at him. So when I was making this list, this was the guy that was at the very top of the list that I wanted to include on here, because not only do I want him to get a push, I'm actually kind of at the point where I feel like it is necessary to push Ilia Dragunov in order to have any sort of amount of faith in his success on the main roster. Here's a weird one. Let's talk about Drew McIntyre. And the reason I say that this is a weird one is because this guy is like a regular in the main event scene. So to call for Drew McIntyre to get a push seems a little bit redundant and kind of meaningless, because he is a guy that gets time on TV. He is a guy that appears on PLEs, gets championship opportunities, but I'm talking about a push to take him to the next level. There is no reason why Drew McIntyre shouldn't be uttered in the same breath as the likes of Cody Rhodes, as the likes of Seth Rollins, as the likes of CM Punk, as the likes of Roman Reigns. This is the type of level of superstar that Drew McIntyre is, and for some reason he doesn't get that same level of love, the same regular pushes that those other names already do. When you listen to a couple of the names that I threw out there, Roman Reigns, one of his best feuds in the last couple of years, right here. Drew McIntyre. CM Punk, arguably his best feud of all time, right here. This guy, Drew McIntyre. Same with Seth Rollins. People want to see this guy being in the same room, in the same storylines, in the same feuds with all of these perennial main eventers, but for some reason WWE likes to have Drew McIntyre in the main event scene for like a month or two, and then hey, let's go have a little feud with Damian Priest for WrestleMania. Hey, let's go hang out in the mid-card for a while. Let's go have a match with Jacob Fatu. When you don't do that with the guys like the Romans and the Punks and the Seth Rollinses and the Cody Rhodeses of the world, why are we doing that with Drew McIntyre? Maybe it's my fault for holding Drew McIntyre in way too high of a regard, but I think you're going to be hard pressed to find people that don't actually like agree with what I'm saying right now. I don't think that what I'm saying right now is a particularly spicy spicy take. A lot of people, I dare say, the majority of people want to see this guy get pushed perennially in the main event, winning world titles, being in the hunt at all times, as opposed to going in and out, in and out, in and out. They need to commit to Drew McIntyre because he is a guy absolutely worth committing to. Now, right now, with it being like War Game season and Crown Jewel season, I get it. It's a little hard to want to push a Drew McIntyre, but come the new year, come like the Royal Rumble, come Elimination Chamber, we should be seriously considering Drew McIntyre as a guy that's going to be going and or winning world titles in early 2026. Okay, you might be thinking, but Santi, Julia is the United States champion. What are you talking about? She is getting pushed. I have Julia on here, but really what I'm trying to say, it isn't just push Julia, it's push the women's mid-card on SmackDown. Push the United States Championship. Make me believe that the United States Championship actually matters to the powers that be that are booking WWE. If they can make me believe that it matters to them, then maybe it'll matter to me and to all of us as well. Because right now, the United States Championship doesn't mean a heck of a whole lot. I think that this bald cap has more prestige than the Women's United States Championship at the moment, and that is not a good thing. In essence, again, push Julia, because pushing Julia means pushing the women's mid-card, means pushing those around her. It means elevating an entire division of the women's section on Friday Night SmackDown. And yeah, Julia is starting to get a little bit more TV time. Julia is getting to cut more promos by proxy with Kiana James, but we want to see Julia in her truest form. We want to see Julia in terms of like what she was doing in Japan, what she was doing in NXT, because right now, and I can say with confidence, we have a nerfed version of Julia. Julia is like 25% of her full total capability on SmackDown at the moment. Just allow her to unleash a little bit more. Allow her to be her proper, brutal, nasty, awesome self on screen, because I don't believe that that's what we're getting at the moment from WWE's booking of Julia. And I don't think that this should require a heck of a whole lot of heavy lifting to push a Julia, because she is a champion. So to push a champion is just like second nature. It's easy. It's simple. The champion should be winning matches. The champion should be looking strong. So let's do it with one of our champions, Julia. And I think the easiest way to just start this is just to make sure that she always has a feud, that she always has a match, that she always has something going on Friday Night SmackDown, and doesn't take these 2 to 3 week hiatuses in between. Okay, this is a weird one. I have both Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, and oh my God, people are throwing up their arms, pitchforks, people trying to throw Molotov cocktails here at the moment when I say push Charlotte Flair. Relax. I'm not saying push Charlotte Flair exclusively to another world title, and I'm not even saying that about Alexa Bliss either. I think you could absolutely benefit from having both of these two in the world title scene when you look at how much depth is missing from that women's main event scene right now, especially with Bianca Belair being missing. Adding Charlotte Flair back into the equation, adding Alexa Bliss back into the equation absolutely will help bolster that main event scene. But right now we have a blueprint that has worked magic, that has worked wonders, that I would love for Friday Night SmackDown to try and replicate with either one of these two. So what I'm calling for here is for Charlotte and or Alexa Bliss, or maybe both, to get a push in the mid card. This kind of goes along with pushing Julia and pushing the United States Championship, because we've seen what happened on Monday Night Raw with Becky Lynch. Her push to the Women's Intercontinental Championship not only, of course, made Becky Lynch even better, because now she's a champion, getting pushed, getting TV time, but it elevated everyone around Becky Lynch into making that division must watch, and made itself so demanding of PLE spots that it got PLE spot after PLE spot every single show. And adding an Alexa Bliss, adding in a Charlotte Flair to go in and feud against Kiana James and Julia, I think it could be what unlocks the women's mid-card on Friday Night SmackDown. Funny enough, we might not be too far away from this, considering on the most recent episode of Friday Night SmackDown as of the making of this video, both Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss were watching the Julia and Kiana James tag team match against B-Fab and Michin. And I mean, sure, it could lead to a tag team match there, but it could also lead to these two having some sort of squabble over who gets next at Julia, and I would love to see that. It feels inevitable, right? Like the Penta push should be happening at some time soon. It feels like it's just a natural next progression for Penta, who's now been been in the WWE for about 9 months. Penta is a guy that has broken the mold. He's the last masked luchador to really be able to break out of the "I'm just a masked luchador" shtick. The last one was Rey freaking Mysterio. When you look at WWE's history of masked luchadors, it always ends up in the same way, getting put together in a group, lucha house party, dance around, be Latinos, etc. You know the deal. But Penta is cool. Penta is not somebody that anybody wants to see get thrown into the LWO. My God, please do not throw Penta into the LWO. Penta has differentiated himself in Lucha Libre. Even though people want to see him partner up with his brother Rey Fenix, it's not because we don't want to see Penta succeed as a single star. It's simply because we know how damn good the Lucha Brothers can be. But don't give him Rey Fenix. Sure, if you don't want to do that, sure. But if you don't want to give him Rey Fenix to form one of the coolest tag teams that WWE could ever lay their eyes on, then let's push Penta into the mid-card. Let's push Penta into the AAA Mega Campeonato. There are now different avenues where you can push Penta. And it seemed for a while there that WWE was kind of dancing with the idea of pushing Penta, putting him in the main event scene. If you remember, he helped save John Cena during Night of Champions. He was feuding with The Vision, Seth Rollins, and then he seemed to all of a sudden get removed kind of randomly and unceremoniously, which left everybody kind of scratching their heads. I would love, even if it's just a one-off attempt, one PLE cycle of Seth Rollins versus Penta for the World Heavyweight title. How cool would that be? That's not even me saying that Penta should win the world title. I'm just saying, let's give him a shot. Maybe let's try the Ruthless Aggression era model of just like, let's see what sticks to the wall, and giving Penta a world championship opportunity might be one of those things that sticks. But if you don't want to fully commit to the world title, there's the Intercontinental Championship that's got some names that Penta could make dream matches with right now, like the likes of Rusev. Him going after Dominic Mysterio makes a tremendous amount of sense, either for the IC title or for the Mega Campeonato. There's a lot of avenues to take with Penta, and right now I just don't think the solution for Penta is to stay feuding with the New Day for the next 8 months. Carmelo Hayes. I feel like if I were to make this list on a yearly basis, Carmelo Hayes is going to be a name that's going to pop up on a regular basis. I think everybody and their mom already knows about the talent ceiling that somebody like a Carmelo Hayes has. It's really high. He's very good in the ring. He's very good at cutting promos. He can be somebody like a Miz, except with significantly more in-ring talent. So if WWE was willing to take a risk on the Miz of all people back in 2010 and in 2011, why can't we take a little bit of a risk on him, on Carmelo Hayes? It doesn't seem that far-fetched. And he did just get an opportunity against Sami Zayn for the United States Championship. That was great. That was fantastic. But I still would love to see Carmelo Hayes being more ingrained into the mid-card as well. I know that him and the Miz have something going on, and that could be a feud that could be a launch pad for Carmelo Hayes ultimately. So I have fingers crossed there. But I genuinely see Carmelo Hayes here within the next 5 months having the right window for WWE to finally give him a push. But the thing is that WWE has a tendency when the window is open to not pull the trigger. Look at what happened to Otis. When the window was open for Otis, they just didn't do anything with it. And I don't want them to make the same mistake here with Carmelo Hayes. Luckily for him, The Miz has been basically known as like the easiest stepping stone in WWE, like working well with The Miz, beating The Miz in a good program, in a good match, ultimately tends to lead to good things for you in the main roster. So I'm hoping that that ends up being the case here with Carmelo Hayes off the back of a Miz victory. I really like what they're doing with Alistair Black on Friday Night SmackDown. It seems slow, steady, but it seems like there is an actual plan, an actual roadmap that they're following. I love that they aren't overexposing him. I love that they aren't having matches with him every single week, but he still gets featured every single week in some capacity. They have found the right balance of character, mystique, and also badassness in the ring with Alistair Black's second run here in the WWE. It might seem trivial to some of you because some of you don't see working with Damian Priest as a big push. I think it's a big deal to get to work with a Damian Priest. Let's not forget that is a former world champion. And so far, people are rather positive about the Damian Priest and Alistair Black feud, to the the point where people are like, yo, like, let's get a street fight going. Let's get last man standing on a BLE, for God's sake. But once the dust settles from that feud, I really think a really intriguing, even if it's just a 1 month feud, could be Cody Rhodes versus Alistair Black for the world championship. I really think that there's something there, something different for Cody Rhodes, while also allowing Alistair Black to get showcased in the main event and see if he's able to stick, much to like what I was saying about Penta. And there is stuff to explore there. Let's not forget that Cody Rhodes was one of the founders of AEW. This guy just came over from AEW. I feel like there is absolutely something there that they can explore that can be both beneficial to both guys, because it would be something fresh for Cody and a big spotlight on Alistair Black, which I think he kind of needs at the moment. Sure, you could go the easier route of, feuding with a Sami Zayn. I think that works really well for the United States Championship. Who wouldn't want to see that as well? So there are avenues, there are options, but I do like the slow and steady approach with Alistair Black, but I sincerely hope that it's a slow and steady approach with an actual destination somewhere. Roxanne Perez will also be somebody that's on this list until the push finally happens. I really feel like Roxanne Perez is going to be a women's world champion at some point in the WWE. She's already being trusted as basically like the women's workhorse of Monday Night Raw. And that's saying a lot considering how many great workers are already on the Monday Night Raw side of things when it comes to the women. Seriously, every episode she seems to have a match, and it's always a very good match. So clearly there is trust there from at least an in-ring perspective. And the fact that she's working within the Judgment Day, working with people that are veterans in this industry, like the likes of Finn Balor and of course 20 plus year veteran Dominic Mysterio. Yes, that's right. His ruthless aggression era run as a 12-year-old kid absolutely counts. But she was a proven commodity in NXT, and I think it's just a matter of time for her to be a proven commodity on the main roster. I will say, I feel like with a Roxanne Perez, they can take their time a little bit here, but the fact that she is with Judgment Day, albeit a super helpful thing that I'm sure is probably helping her develop a lot, is also kind of restricting her, because right now there's a huge void when it comes to top heels on Friday Night SmackDown, and if she were just to go over there, she could fill that void really nicely right now. Oba Femi just lost his NXT championship to me, seemingly kind of randomly. It's almost as if they are gearing up for Oba Femi to go to the main roster. Doesn't seem logical for Oba Femi to go back for that NXT championship right now. He's done it all. He already had a great run with it, dominant champion. What would winning it again really prove? I think at this point, most loyal NXT viewers know that this guy is a made man. This guy is a guy that if all is done just to the bare minimum, he'll still win world championships and main event WrestleManias. That's the level of talent that we're talking about with an Oba Femi. And what I want to see out of Oba Femi is honestly 2002 Brock Lesnar type of push. I want him to come to the main roster. I want him to obliterate everyone. I want him to win titles. I want him to win Rumbles. I want him to win everything and anything under the sun. I want him to beat up old legends, all of it. I want to see Oba Femi get that monster mega push on the main roster here within the next 5 months, because I think he could be a huge asset come the Royal Rumble, and should absolutely be getting a WrestleMania match if he does have his main roster debut here sometime soon. There's just nothing for him to do in NXT. The TNA stuff doesn't really even involve Oba Femi, and that seems to be the biggest thing that's captivating everyone at the moment. And if it doesn't involve Oba, then why keep Oba on NXT? Move him over to the main roster. Hell, have him answer Sami Zayn's open challenge. Have him be the one to dethrone Sami Zayn. That'd be pretty gnarly. And the last one that I have on this list is Fraxiom. I still don't believe that WWE has truly unlocked what Fraxiom is all about. Yes, cool. They can do the flips. They're fast. They can have great matches. That we have seen. That's been showcased on Friday Night SmackDown. But on NXT, they were oddly very charming together, and they were able to tell a really fun story between the two of infighting, but love. They're best friends, best amigos. We haven't really gotten to see that on Friday Night SmackDown. Right now, what I would suggest is send them over to Monday Night Raw, push them there as both great in-ring workers, but also give them the time to connect with the fans with backstage segments like they were able to do on NXT, push them to the World Tag Team titles, and let them flourish, right? These are guys that were able to carry an entire division on NXT. You think the Raw tag team division was dead? Let me introduce you to the old tag team division that these guys were the heads of. There was no tag teams for Fraxiom, and yet every single time those tag team titles would make it to PLEs because of Fraxiom, because they were so good, because they were so fun and so charismatic, and they would often have the best matches of the night. So these guys are known commodities when it comes to being able to lift the dead division out of the ashes. And right now it doesn't get more dead than the Raw tag team division. So go let them do what they did on the NXT tag team division over on Monday Night Raw. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching today's video. That was a lot of fun. This is your chance in the comments to let me know who WWE should be pushing right now. But that's it. I'm done. Goodbye. Get out of here.